Welcome to Queer Efficiency, where we solve tiny problems. Things like how to stop losing your keys, how to make your to-do list less of a personal betrayal. And in today's video, I'm showing you how I habit stack my way to effortless productivity. Basically, I'm tricking myself into actually getting my shit done so that small chores don't pile into a full-blown crisis. I'm Anthony Wagner, and I'm just here trying to outsmart my own laziness. Let's get into it. All right, here's how this works. Every single morning, I have a pretty set morning routine. As part of that routine, I brew either a cup or a half pot of coffee, depending on what I've got going on for that day. Once I start the coffee, but before it's done, that little window is the perfect time to get little tasks done. There's two key components to this method of habit stacking. The first is a passive habit, like doing the coffee, and the second is a short task, or a series of short tasks that I refer to typically as 2-minute tasks. A passive habit, this is something that might be a little harder to nail down if you don't drink coffee, but for those of you that do, and if you do it every single day, that is the perfect habit to base your habit stacking on. The key thing here is that it's got to be something that you do every single day without fail. This is the window where you'll get things done that you might not ordinarily have made such definitive time for. We'll cover a few examples in a minute. I tried to come up with some examples of other passive habits. I even went so far as to use AI, and really there weren't any that quite got to that level. But another example that I thought of was waiting for water to boil, which is kind of a cheat because it's exactly the same thing as waiting for your coffee to brew, just if you happen to drink tea or something else that requires boiling water. But some other things in case you don't do either of those. Maybe you listen to a book or a podcast or some sort of news thing for 15-20 minutes every day. That would be a great example of something that was passive, so it's where you're listening, but where your hands are free to do other stuff. Another example is that if you happen to do laundry every day and you start your washing machine, that could be the habit that triggers your 2-minute tasks. It's something you're doing every single day. I find that none of those are quite as good as the 10 minutes. It's like these 10 golden little minutes. Your coffee is brewing and there's really nothing else that you can do. If you drink coffee already, excellent window for getting your 2-minute tasks done. So speaking of those 2-minute tasks, here are some examples of what I do during that little window. The main one that I do probably every day, this is when I either load or empty my dishwasher. I have another video, which I'll link in the description, about why you don't have to bother hand washing your dishes and you can just put them directly into the dishwasher. So check that out in case you're interested. But this is the prime window for getting my dishes loaded into the dishwasher. I'm right there in the kitchen and I've just done this one little thing and I'm waiting for it and I turn around, I'm at the sink and there we go. Let's get those dishes loaded. The next thing that I do often during this is empty the dishwasher. Now this one, granted, usually takes longer than 2 minutes, but that's okay. It just means that it's usually the only one that I do during my passive habit that day, but it's the prime time to do that. Another one that I do, and I'm actually in the middle of producing a video on this, is keeping my laundry folded. I do little bits of laundry here and there, and the time when my coffee is brewing is the perfect time to grab a handful and fold it. I have some other little tips and tricks that'll come in that video, which is probably next, so keep an eye out for that. A few other things that I do, I send birthday cards to my friends, and this is the perfect time to get that card written, the envelope addressed, and get it set on my end table so that it's ready to go out with the mail. I also have a cat. Her name is Ruby. She's a little fuzz, and I wash her bowl every few days, her food bowl, and that's the perfect time to do that. I also clean her fountain. Because she's spoiled and she's a little diva, I clean her fountain once a week to make sure that that stays clean. Yes, she has a water fountain just for her. I actually manage all of these recurring tasks in Todoist, and I will put it up on the screen so you can see the list of things and how those look. I might do a future video on my Todoist setup. But right now, just know that that's where I pull a lot of the items that I do during my little passive window. They all come from Todoist for the most part. So this is a pretty quick video today, but just as a quick recap, the main thing here is to find a passive habit. And honestly, if you have something that's not coffee that you think fits that bill, I would love you to drop that in the comments because I would love to have a few other examples. haven't come up with any, even with the help of AI. So if coffee does happen to work for you, please use that. It is a golden window where you can get things done. Otherwise, some of the other examples that I gave are pretty good alternatives. So that's step one, is to find a passive habit. Number two is to do that thing, the passive habit, the thing that you do every single day without thinking about it. That's your trigger that then kicks in your passive time that you can knock out some of those 2-minute tasks. All right, that's all I've got for you today. Don't forget, if you want my help solving a tiny problem, drop a comment below. Or in this case, if you've got any examples of passive habits that work for you, I would love for you to leave those in the comment as well. And if you like this video, you can share it with your friends, or even simpler, scroll down and tap the like button. It really helps me out. Thanks so much for watching.